Hi, Paul Sakis, Good News Broadcast. I'm speaking with the Honorable Greg Garcia. Hi, Greg. How are you?
I'm fine, Paul. How are you?
Oh, okay. Well, we're actually not okay. I'm personally okay, but with regard to my business and my website, I'm not okay because I've been hacked. Assistant Secretary of Cybersecurity and Communications, Department of Homeland Security. So it's a very timely interview for us. And I'm also with Pamela Jackson. Hi, Pamela. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay, Director Consumer Products, Symantec Corporation, and we've done a few interviews with your organization, do a lot of good things, and we're going to talk about financial crisis and bank acquisition, creating cyber scams, what you need to know about cybersecurity in America. And I'm also going to just say from today's New York Times, beware the digital zombies. The robot network is seeking to enlist your computer. Okay, Good News Broadcast. All we do is good news, positive content, so on and so forth. About 3 weeks ago, we somehow got hacked. They say it was from Russia, and they're sending our stuff to China. Help. What's going on?
Well, Paul, you put your finger on it. This is National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Every October, now for the 5th year, we are working with the private sector and government and academic institutions to raise awareness across the country that cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility because there are a number of growing threats out there. They are evolving, they are sophisticated, and increasingly they are targeted. They're targeted at businesses and at government networks, and sometimes at consumers. They're out there seeking to steal personal information. They're out there to steal government and business intellectual property information, or they're out to degrade our networks. We have had just in 2008 more than 71,000 cyber incidents reported to DHS, the Homeland Security Department. That's up from 4,000 in 2005. So that number represents not just an increase in attacks across our networks, but also the good news is it represents an increase in awareness and people reporting.
Okay, good. Pamela, tell us about Symantec and how you guys are involved.
So Symantec is on the board and has partnered with the National Cybersecurity Alliance. We've done a number of things together. Most recently, we did a joint survey of people who are spending time online. We had 3,000 participants, 400 of which we actually had the opportunity to scan their PCs, and the objective was to really understand whether or not there was a gap between the level of protection that consumers think they have and that they actually have. And we did find out in a couple of areas, unfortunately, that people didn't really have the level of protection they thought they had. There was over 80% of people, for example, said, yes, we have a firewall, absolutely. And we found from scanning the PCs that only 42% did, which means nearly 60% of people didn't have a firewall. And that's comparable to leaving the front door of your home open and just allowing people to come and go and take what they want whenever they want. And so really ensuring that we want to make sure consumers are following good practices online, that they have the right set of tools, and as Greg indicated, National Cybersecurity Month is a great opportunity to do that, but we also want to make sure that you're doing it the other 11 months of the year.
I mean, I don't know how that in Good News Broadcast, I literally cannot take this interview you and I are doing right now and put it on our regular website. I'm putting it up on YouTube, okay? Because on our regular website, if you click, I am told, this has just happened, and we've been working with our serving company. If someone clicks a couple times on our video icon, of which this goes up on, then they potentially could get a virus themselves. This is what I'm being told. So Google has put down, don't go to this website. In fact, you can't even get our site in the library. All we do is good news.
It sounds like what's happened, and I'm just speculating here, probably the biggest threat, or one of the threats I should say that's on the rise, is what's called drive-by downloads. And essentially what this is where a perfectly legitimate website, such as yours, has been hacked, and the person that's hacked into your site has placed malware there so that an unsuspecting person like myself or any of your listeners, when they visit the site, they actually pick up this malware. It can be spyware, which is intended to steal your personal information. It could be botnets, which definitely can wreak havoc and essentially not only take over your PC, but is intended to take over other PCs as well. And that's becoming very common. There was a Super Bowl site that was hacked into a few years ago, and we know the type of traffic that the Super Bowl sites get during Super Bowl. There are a number of entertainers sites who have also had their perfectly legitimate websites hacked into, and when people visit, they're picking up, as I said, what's called a drive-by download. So you want to make sure, certainly as a consumer, that you have a comprehensive set of protection, a multi-layered solution to ensure that you're protected against even these type of threats, particularly since they're certainly on the rise.
And let me just add, Paul, that one thing that Pamela is suggesting is also a message to the enterprise users here, those who are doing business online and offering services or products or information to consumers and other businesses online. And that is that if you are running a business, you need to put somebody in charge of cybersecurity. You need to know what is on your computer systems, where your computer systems are, and what are the vulnerabilities to attack. And then third is establish a security policy and stick with it and enforce it and make sure your people are trained. And if you do those 4 simple steps as a business, you are going to have a better chance of ensuring that those kinds of drive-by downloads, those other kinds of vulnerabilities, aren't implanted on your website. And that way we can ensure that your customers are going to be more secure.
Now, in the situation, well, first of all, I did hire two interns that are secure. They told me they're networking. They're in a school here, right? And that there's, in addition to networking, they're doing security. So literally, I guess this is so concerning that there's majors in security and networking. Is that right? Right?
Yeah, we're looking to increase the number of students that are involved in computer science and engineering because we want to increase the pipeline from the academic community into the workforce. One of the things we host at the Department of Homeland Security is something called the Scholarship for Service program. I encourage a lot of students to get involved with that. Essentially, what we're doing is paying for students' education for 1 or 2 years in exchange for their giving the same amount of service, 1 or 2 years, in government, in cybersecurity. And since 2002, nearly 750 students have graduated and gone on to work for over 130 different government agencies across the country. And so this is the good news as well. We're trying to increase the number of students getting into this profession because the hackers are sophisticated too, and they're organized and they're coordinated, and the only way we're going to beat them is to have a strong frontline defense in our workforce.
StaySafeOnline.org is a good website, has a lot of information, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and it's use antivirus software, protect your personal information. It's valuable, know what you're dealing with. And then, Greg, you had mentioned something else to me. US CENT, was it, .gov?
Yeah, it's called an organization within the Department of Homeland Security is called the U.S. Computer Emergency Readiness Team. It's a 24/7 watch and warning operation that receives reports from people and companies who've been hacked and disseminates information about good practices, about tools you can use, and impending threats. The website is uscert.gov, uscert.gov.
Okay, well, thank you both very much. Unfortunately, it's a timely subject for me, but fortunately, the good news is that there's things that can be done and should be done. And thank you both for coming out, doing it, the Homeland Security, doing great work there. And Symantec has always been out there with positive content and doing good. So thank you both very much for sharing the good news with us.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for having us, Paul.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.